one or two steps, sir, back from this sign. I want everyone to see this picture. Okay, so now we're looking at the model from a southern angle, okay? And before I talk about the city at the time of Jesus, I want to say something about Jerusalem during the Old Testament period, okay? Especially during the earlier times, that is the time of Abraham and David. The original nucleus of Jerusalem was not on top over there, but rather down here. Look at this little area over here. This was Jerusalem at the time of Abraham and David. 15 acres in size. You see that in the model, that narrow section there at the bottom right. See that? The bottom right part of the model. Looks like almost like a banana. Okay, tiny little section. This was Jerusalem throughout most of the Old Testament period. So you can see how much development, the city had experienced prior to the birth of Christ, right? By the Herodian period, it was a very large city with, of course, many more people who lived there. But that remained the original nucleus of the city even at the time of Jesus. Now this pool down here at the bottom is called the Pool of Siloam. Okay, this is where the setting for a miracle. Okay, the blind man who was born blind, if you recall. And then the disciples asked, well, who then sinned, right? Was it him or his parents that he should be born blind? And Jesus said neither one, right? And it was so that the glory of the Lord would be manifested. And so he told him to wash his eyes, remember, in the pool of Siloam, and he went there and could see. Okay, so this is the pool right there. I also want to point out the three valleys in Old Jerusalem. What's the name of the Eastern Valley? We talked about it a moment ago. Kidron Valley. To the west here, this side, you see the Western Valley, which is called the Gehenna Valley, also known as the Valley of Hell in Hebrew. So Eastern Valley, Western Valley, and right through the middle is the Tyropoeon Valley, or the Central Valley. And these are the three valleys in Old Jerusalem. By the way, the three valleys form the letter Shin in the Hebrew alphabet, which is the name of God. So next time you go to your hotel room, you'll notice there's a little box. It's called a mezuzah with the name of God engraved on it. Okay? And it's pretty interesting because there are several places in the Old Testament where God says that he's going to put his name in a city. You can actually see how the name of God is embedded, okay, in the topography of Jerusalem. Even today, if you were to fly over Jerusalem, you could actually see the letter Shin, the name of God, embedded in the terrain. So that's pretty interesting. At the time of Jesus, the main gateway in and out of the temple would have been above the city of David. This is what we call the original nucleus of Jerusalem. Down the bottom, you see the southern retaining wall. About above that, right here in this picture, okay, over here, and you see the gates. Okay, the gates on the right were the main entry into the temple compound, and the two gates on the left were the main exit. Okay, so as a pilgrim, you would first work your way up one way, and then you would come out the temple compound another. All right. There's a section of the stairs that led up to the top that are still intact there. It's pretty interesting. After all those years and the wars and everything else, those are called the southern steps. So remember that because we're hoping to get there in one of the Jerusalem days. Now, this area over here to the left, okay, is where most of the city was at the time of Jesus. And you can see the distinction between the lower city, which was the home of the poor, and they did a very good job here on this model. Okay, you can see the difference in style. And the upper city, which was the ritzier part of town, with all the terracotta red rooftops on top. Okay? In that upper part of the city, several things, important things, happened. First of all, the upper room would have been in that general area. Also, the palace of Caiaphas, the high priest. And you remember that night when Jesus was taken into the house of Caiaphas, and Peter denied him 3 times before the calling of the rooster. That too would have been in that general area. And also, the main palace of Herod the Great in Jerusalem was in that part of town. So please follow me. I'm going to show you now the Herodian palace. This is was the place where the wise men